Meeting 2025-0612WS. City Clerk.
We'd like to remind everyone to please silence your mobile devices. To help with sound quality, make sure to speak clearly and directly into your microphone, and mute your microphone when you're not speaking. If anyone is having trouble hearing at any point during the meeting, please raise your hand and someone will bring you an audio assistance device. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell. Here. Commissioner Welch.
Here.
Commissioner Brody.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Here.
Mayor Relly.
Here?
City Manager Rose.
Here.
City Attorney Pyburn.
Here.
Okay. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? This meeting is being conducted live with a physical quorum present. The material for today's meeting is available online at www.coconutcreek.net, and the meeting is being broadcast live. We will now begin the discussion item regarding the City Manager's annual performance review. City Manager, Madam Sheila Rose.
Thank you, Mayor. If you all will indulge me, I'd like the opportunity just to give a very quick overview of the PowerPoint presentation that was included in the backup, and I promise I'll be quick, but really all I want to say is thank you. It's been such an honor and such a privilege, and it's interesting because the team that's here is really the folks that do the work, and I trust them 100%. We're so lucky to have such a strong group of leaders, and I'm so lucky that they've got my back, and I'm pleased they're here tonight. So with that, I just wanted to run through very quickly what was included in the backup, just to give you a little overview of what's been going on this year. So yes, I'll kind of break this down into what we've completed over the last year, just give you a quick overview of community engagement, and then really focus just a few minutes on the strategic priorities for next year so that you have a chance to weigh in on those and think about talking through those issues in the next couple of years, or next year. I obviously stay and continue to stay engaged in all of my leadership activities, and am a credentialed manager with ICMA. So I will continue to stay engaged in those activities and anything else you think I might need to be engaged in. As far as the completed strategic priorities, although it's not very specific, the restructuring of our leadership from the police and fire and the IT departments has made such a significant change in our organizational culture that I really think that's what happened this year, and that's what made all of the progress that we've made possible. There have been lots of other activities, but those are probably the three biggest changes that have occurred over the course of the year. As far as sort of recent changes, and one of the passions that I've always pursued and been actually really good at is getting grant funding, but I've been busy. So the opportunity to expand our role and develop some of the younger leaders in our staff to take on that role is something that I've been working on this year. Dan Nelson was recently promoted into a position where his focus will solely be on grants. So I think that's a really positive change. Bernadette continues to focus on all of those federal and state appropriations, so we're working on those things. And then with everybody's help, it was not a one-man show, it was not a one-woman show. We finally got the check from the FDEP for Oak Trails, which took a long, 5 years. So I think that's really a significant accomplishment. This is just a quick overview of some of the funding we've gotten this year, and we will continue to pursue it. I have mentioned to all of you that it will be a tight budget year, and anywhere where we can seek grant funding to offset programs that we already need to do, things that are in our CIP, we will be seeking grant funding. Clearly, public safety and emergency preparedness is one of those chief roles you have to keep focused on. We're very blessed with a fabulous police department who went through and got their second accreditation, fire with the ambulance accreditation. And kind of probably exciting is our reorganization and reinvigoration of the CERT team. It was sliding downhill, and now I think they're very excited and engaged. And also probably very significant, and it seemed like it was simple, but it wasn't that simple, is to organize a funding strategy for the fire station. And with your help, that tax increase passed, and it will be set aside specifically for those type of capital projects. I have learned more about online security than I care to admit. It is something that we have to remain focused on. Our IT department, and I see, Eric and Danny are both here. There are so many projects going on behind the scenes to keep us safe and secure. In fact, Eric and I met this afternoon, and we talked through some of our interesting challenges from a cybersecurity perspective. I'm not going to talk about them because they are secret, but we will be working aggressively on those issues over the course of the next year. Clearly, we have a high-performing team. Pam and I sometimes talk about, should we be looking at people on a bell curve? The reality of it is our expectation is that our team are those high performings. We want people working for the city of Coconut Creek that are, those superstars, and we continue to get them and keep them. So I think this is sort of some of the work that we've done to keep people focused, but we really do want the very best employees, and we seem to have the ability to keep them, and I hope that continues. Clearly, one of your priorities has been community engagement, and that is, I think that goes all the way from the ambassador program. Joe, who rolled out a really great program to get voter engagement up, was terrific. But all of our staff are out at community events. They shake hands, they say hello, but they do also make that very personal touch. I think that's unique in Coconut Creek. People know who I am, they know who all the directors are, they know who all of you are, they know who to call. So I think that's something that you should be very proud of. We have also done that kind of outreach with the business community. The Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance is really where we find the big ticket item opportunities, and we will continue to participate with them on potential economic development, new businesses that want to locate in this area. So I think that's very valuable. And I think we all got a kick out of the idea of the permit concierge. Valencia has just embraced that role. So we're hoping that we'll continue that. And we want to let our business community know that we're there for them. Sometimes contractors don't tell them really what's going on, and to have somebody in City Hall answer the phone and walk them through that process is very valuable. Furthermore, I think we repaired some of our relationships with the school board. It has not been easy, but I think the turmoil has been with the school board, not with us. They've been through superintendent after superintendent, and we've been consistent, but amazing that we actually got the flip done at Lions Creek Middle School. 4 years in the making, crazy, but we hope to see that completed. I mean, they're committed to completing it over the summer, and Bernadette will be staying on it. We'll be staying on it and making sure, that they're meeting their milestones. So I think that's really an area where we'll continue to focus. And of course, there have been many CIPs and the ongoing work that is included in your budget. So been very successful in that area. Sometimes we look at the number of projects that are ongoing and you wonder, how they juggle all of these things. But you'll see tonight, even later on the agenda, the first phase of Lakeside Park. So exciting that these CIPs are getting done, and the 5-year plan for budgeting these kind of things is working. So we'll keep moving on that. And this is just so you think about, we talk about community outreach. I'm not going to go through these, but it goes on and on and on and on. our staff, as well as you all, are at these events and being accessible, and we think that's really important. I just want to spend, I know I'm trying to talk really fast, on the future strategic priorities. Clearly, Main Street, just going to continue to be a priority. The hope would be this winter, there's bulldozers moving dirt, and we have infrastructure under construction. I also feel very passionately about doing this overall economic development plan for the city-owned property as well as our underperforming plazas, for instance, our underperforming properties. I mean, for instance, it might be that the small parcel on Hillsborough that should have been the banquet hall, if we have a professional group out marketing property, we have more of a say as to what the ultimate user will be. So that, I think, will take up a lot of time this year. And of course, the design of Fire Station 113, which will be well underway, will quickly roll right there into the remodeling of the police department. And it was a great time yesterday with the General Assembly, getting to kind of walk through the schedule for those things with both police and fire, so very exciting. Further, I'm committed to maintaining the organization with sort of that family style. I do feel that we have made a lot of progress in that area. I do continue to be, I want to be accessible and open and make sure the culture is that of a great place to work. So I'm lucky to have this group, very lucky, very lucky. And then, of course, we'll continue to work on the big regional issues with the landfill expansion, the turnpike expansion, and surtax funding. So those are kind of like the big picture items. Let's hope we make progress with the landfill. We'll talk about that a little bit later tonight. The turnpike expansion, I know Terrell's working very hard on that lawsuit. I also think we are spreading the message to other communities that expanding highways that are cutting through our community to 10 lanes erodes our ability to ultimately go to a transit-based system just for the whole county. So I think we're making progress in that area. It's slow, but we're making progress in that area, and hopefully we'll get some kind of compromise there. Main Street, just this graphic just shows you the blocks that are already approved. We might well see some, we're hoping to see some construction on those parcels along Lyons Road, sort of as the first phase rolls out. And then I talked a little bit about economic development, and I just included this graphic because I think it's important to think about the parcels that the city currently owns. And as we bring on this team to look at economic development, this RFP will not necessarily design projects for these, but they certainly will give us a good idea of the marketability of these parcels, the timing for potential development on these parcels in the Main Street area. So that we think is a very positive thing to be working on this year. Furthermore, we've got in place, and we continue to develop master plans so that our work is guided by, and not reactionary, that it's guided by master plans, and we have an overall plan for what we're doing with the city. So that, I think, is very exciting. We will be continuing to work on disaster recovery. We were behind, very candidly, in the IT area, and with the help of Eric and Danny, we're catching up. Vulnerability is something that I think we have a pretty low tolerance for, so that I think will be a big work effort. We're excited that Joe's actually going to lead our AI team, and the directors are going to have AI training as a group in October, so I think that's wonderful. We've just retained a consultant to work with us in Parks and Recreation to outline the policies and procedures for field rentals, look at the whole thing. It's time for an update. So that, I think, is exciting. And then, of course, continuing on the succession planning. So that's did that as fast as I could. And then, thank you, really. It's just been such a joy and a pleasure. And if there's anything you need, anything you want to discuss, know that I'm always open. And then go Panthers. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I hope everyone realizes just how much you did say in such a short period of time. No, really, amazing.
Thank
and
you.
you can actually feel the difference of the culture, I believe, both in the offices, outside the offices, in the communities, even here up on the dais. So I'm really, thank you very much for all your efforts. They don't go unnoticed, and we are all very grateful for them. Thank you. Shall I start from, yes, Commissioner Rydell, please.
Okay. Yeah, it was a unique one. I talked to Sheila privately about this. I'll say the same thing I said to her privately in public. You've been through 3 city managers. I've been through 2 other ones, I think, right? 3, 4. 4. So this is my 3rd. I only say it because it's a learning experience when you see how people deal with things, how people deal with struggles, how people deal with 5 commissioners with 5 different personalities, 5 different priorities, and 5 different directives, which is probably more prevalent now than has been in past years, candidly. And that's a juggling act in and of itself that I think any manager struggles with, and I think you've done amazing in this first year, Sheila. I have very little criticism. I have a lot of support. I think you've done spectacular. To talk about your team real quick, there was like a why workshop. The quote is, I may butcher it, hopefully not. The true function of leadership is to create more leaders. I think that's it. And I say that because as a leader, you sit in a room of people that not only love the city, they love what they do, they love their job. They've been incentivized, they've been invigorated. I think, Jackie, in just your brief remarks, I think you're right. There's a very distinct cultural shift. And I remember years ago when Mary would send out these emails of positivity. I mean, some of you guys remember that. She would send out these like messages and videos and things like that. Some of you would, some of you wouldn't, to the leaders. And I get that sense again of that positive messaging, that supportive workplace. And I think we're in a really, really positive place. I think your commitment to the business community comes from your background. And we've kind of shifted from more, and I don't say this in a good way or bad way, we shifted from, years of true, like upper level leadership, more based financed, to now more based business. And I think it's a testament to understanding that with kind of what you and Scott have brought to the table in terms of true economic development, understanding how to manipulate the world of economic development to benefit our businesses, to help our residents and help our community, which I think is spectacular. I think your commitment also to understanding what's coming next, and a good example is what you just said, AI. It's here. Like I didn't even know you were going to say that, and I'm super impressed you did say that, because government is usually the last person to get involved in something like that. You have private industry, my law practice, we're engaging in these processes. To do it in government becomes ultimately a no-brainer, and I'm super impressed that you said that. In terms of your priorities, what you've shown us, obviously there's a backup packet. You could have spent 3 hours this evening talking about everything that's gone on this past year. I think the other real significant difference as well is not just the staff getting out there and things like that, because I think this commission has spoke very, very clearly that we want community engagement more. I think it's a consistent, amongst all 5 of us, very consistent community engagement, community outreach, and you've delivered in this past year remarkably on that. But what I think is really unique is the footprint you have countywide with not just other leaders, whether it's the MPO, whether it's through the climate organizations, whether it's through the Alliance, whether it's through either the Fort Lauderdale Alliance, the Broward Alliance, a lot of those organizations, those connections matter. And we're foolish in government to think relationships and connections don't matter. So you've really engaged that in that last year, and we've seen some of these outside entities, and also seeing deficiency. If we see something that's not working, you've been beyond quick to remedy it, very quick to remedy it, where again, that's not really the culture in government. The culture in government tradition is, okay, it's gonna be all right, let's just get through it. That's not how you've governed in your first year. So I actually have I don't have anything bad to say, at all this year. I support a raise. I support a bonus. We can get to that at the end after I hear my colleagues' comments. But I am absolutely thrilled with how the past year has gone for the city of Coconut Creek. That's all I got.
Well, there are very few times that I wished I could go first, but tonight I wished I had, because some of it you stole my thunder. We did meet privately, and we had a great conversation. I don't want to meet right before your General Assembly anymore, because then when you want to talk about some things personal, it's like, I know she had a dead stop to get in here and rally up the General Assembly, but, and I heard a part of it, and I have to tell you, I've never been to one of the General Assemblies, but I've heard when they were going on. I never, since 2013, ever heard one that sounded like it did this week, and it was incredible. I could feel the energy and the music, nonetheless. So I asked Sheila, I have so many good things to say, and I was so happy when you were interested in coming into this role, because I've worked with you even before I came on commission on the Parks and Rec, and even before that, to know your style and know your appreciation of the city. So to me, two of the things that you bring most to the role is your historical knowledge of the city, how it was built in the 25 years or so since you've been here, even from before, because I think you had the pulse of the city even before. And then to Commissioner Rydell's point, those relationships, not just in the city, but outside the city. And those have really worked well to our benefit in so many ways. Nonetheless, the grants. And we've talked about the succession plan for years, but you really made it happen. And not only that, but I see the leaders that you have, they're producing other leaders behind them. They take the time to do that. So you promote it in your own right. I just continuing, and I love that you work alongside or in collaboration with our city attorney, another valuable asset. It thrills me because together the two of you keep our city in a good way. And you have faced the tough decisions. You have not passed the buck when things have occurred. You're very proactive rather than reactive, and that makes our city look even better. We're just all the better for it. So I'm just thrilled and appreciate your visionary planning that you have brought to the city. And I certainly can't stop from saying the appreciation for the sustainability and pushing that forward, because now we can really walk the talk. And it makes me personally very proud that we're not just saying it, we're actually doing it. So just thank you for that. Good job, well done.
So I just have a couple questions. There's about 8 emails that haven't been responded to. Oh, wait, that's from last year, my bad. Let me flip that page. Sorry, it's a little sense of humor tonight. Listen, I'm a Sheila cheerleader, and the reason I'm going to say this is I believe in leadership. I believe in strong leadership, lead by example, create leaders from within. I think that when we talk about promoting from within, you know, your leadership role, and obviously the people sitting out here, and there's a lot of new faces, you had to make the difficult decisions in your position as a CEO of Coconut Creek to change leadership, and it's not easy, right? We all know as city government, we're all under the microscope, and you did it with class, you did it with speed, and you did it with integrity. And it's hard to get all that and be able to put a team together and in a year be absolutely have such a huge impact on everything. I'm going to tell you, there's nobody in this room and there's nobody in the city that says the last 12 months have not been such a positive thing in everybody's lives. I walk through City Hall and I hear people laughing. I hear people talking. I feel we did the event at the community center, and I saw people integrated, talking to each other, all groups talking. That's not an easy thing to get everybody on the same sheet of music. And I'm going to be honest with you, I did not sleep well the first 2 years I was here. I slept so great the last 12 months with you being in this position. And I was probably the harshest critic of everything going on because I want true leadership in our city. I want to make sure that when we make a decision as a group up here, that we're on the same sheet of music and that the city manager is in line with us. And you have been fantastic. And something that you guys may not know is when I walk through the city hall, Sheila will pull me in and go, hey, let's talk for a minute. Sit me down on her little chairs, little white chairs, not behind her desk. Because see, when you're in a power position, you sit behind your desk and you talk to somebody, it's the wrong message. She sat as an equal, sitting in those chairs, and we had conversations, some of them very difficult. Some of them were very passionate on both sides of those chairs. But never at one time did I ever feel disrespected or embarrassed or walk out of that room not saying, man, that was a great conversation. And that's hard to do with me because I tend to flare up like a bad firecracker. And so it was really cool to be able to sit with somebody and exchange ideas and be able to know that we got on the same sheet of music. Sometimes I was corrected, sometimes we fixed a problem that we didn't see eye to eye on. But it was amazing to watch how she interacted with every single person she came in contact with. I don't feel that you treated people like a subordinate, you treated them as equals, and I think that's where the respect comes from everybody in this audience right now, and especially the people up here, because we see that. And I totally respect from where you're coming from. I respect how you did things. I certainly did not want to ever be in your shoes because those decisions were tough. But I think when I look at what's going to happen in the city in the next few years, I'm in full, appreciation for how you're going to do it and fully support every step that you're going to take, knowing that you're going to make sure that we're all looked out for. Now the sandwich, right? I always go to the sandwich. The only thing I say is sometimes we're a little bit behind on getting information. Text messages. At first it was catching up. Now it's just small things. I'm not going to get into detail. It's not that important, and it's really small, minute. But being able to keep us in a loop up here, because when residents reach out, sometimes we don't know. But getting that message to us quicker is all I'd ever ask, because it comes fast and furious. And it's not a big deal, small stuff. But that would be my only critique, and that's basically nothing. That's just something that we can tweak and move on with our lives without any impact. But I fully support anything we're going to do to make you more money in your pocket, because you certainly earned it and you certainly deserve it, Sheila. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. What a year. It's, after going after the three of them and what they've said, I mean, it's hard to say something new or something original, because everything they've said, minus one or two things, I think is spot on. You care about this city, and it's just so evident. It's so evident in what you do. It's so evident in what you wear, and how you wear green all the time. You're very passionate. You're wearing Panther stuff. Your energy is outstanding. The energy is outstanding in City Hall, and just people are proud. And I think the five of us are really proud. It's really evident that we made the best decision last year. And it's not an easy decision to make, but it shows the succession, and it shows that it works. And you are the shining example of that. Even when you try to make everyone happy, even when some of the requests are probably laughable, you still do everything you can to make us happy up here, and everybody in the department's happy as well. I support a raise, I support a bonus, and whenever that discussion comes tonight. But our conversations are so genuine, and you take a vested interest in us as people. And when people are happy, they want to do good. And you're doing a great job, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, I'll make it brief because I don't know what else I could add to the stellar comments about our super city manager. I have to say, we are the sum of our parts. And you have brought all the parts together in a magnificent way. We have a fabulous staff, and it shows. The leadership it trickles from the top. And absolutely, every single one of you have made us, the commission, vice mayor, the mayor, proud to be a part of this city. I mean, we are on the map. I mean, we really are on, Coconut Creek is on the map. People know who we are. They used to say, coconut where? Coconut who? What? They know Coconut Creek now. And we have a stellar reputation. Anybody that will Google us, will talk to anyone that lives here, and Sheila, your reputation precedes you. Everyone knows you, everyone respects you, everyone loves you, and really, and is proud to be associated with you. So you support us. That's big for us. We need that. And as you do, our staff, our employees, our family, I mean, they're considered our family at this point. So thank you for everything you do, and your staff as well. So with that, yes, Josh.
You know, going over it, and I was looking at some of the last years, other model years, other raise years of what we've done in past years. Historically, I was looking at things, I think. I would suggest, my suggestion this evening would be a 5% raise and a 3% bonus.
I would second that.
From the rest of us?
Yes, please.
I think that will put you not even at the median of the other surrounding city managers, but it's certainly a bit closer.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. And you second, Vice Mayor?
100%. I know this is, it's kind of in line, I think, of what you were saying, you know, in our conversation. I think it's well-deserved.
I concur. So that makes it unanimous. 5% with the 3% vote, a
believe-
3% bonus, and now, Mr. Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll on
Do we need to
five?
do we need to reiterate five
I just
salary?
did 5% raise, salary raise, and a 3% bonus.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
If
No
I may,
worries.
Madam City Attorney, do we need to make it a formal motion?
You
I didn't
had a
move,
motion and a
but,
second. Okay,
No, as long as you give consensus, I think that's
okay,
fine.
thank you.
okay. Mr. Kavanaugh?
Commissioner Rydell,
Yes.
Commissioner Welch,
Yes.
Commissioner Brody,
Heck yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman,
Yes.
Mayor Raley.
Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you very, very much.
Adjourned. Thank you.
I'll hear it.